Okay.
I can check.
No, that's fine, because, we don't need minutes for a public hearing, and, I think it's 7 o'clock, if anybody disagrees, they're welcome to.
Go ahead.
Okay, so, why don't you tell us about the project, the changes that, we're going through here?
My name is Craig Sweet with Paradigm Consultants. Here for phase 3 of the Nature's Wilderness Campground. If you remember, phase 1 in green was approved, so you can see it too, sorry. Phase 1 was approved in 2020, and then last spring we approved phase 2. The first phase had 64 lots, and then phase 2 had an additional 20, and then we're going for an additional 20 proposed in orange here for the third phase, which includes the extension of crossover way, the stream crossing, and then about 1,000 feet of road for Gary's Way for a total of 20 lots. There'd be a new well here, and then a septic area is currently proposed here to treat the wastewater, and then stormwater is going to be treated by buffers. And then, yeah, it's about what's going on. So it'll be part of the overall process, and then eventually come back, as we kind of discussed last time, for 20 lots at a time for the area in blue, should they decide to keep going forward. And that is the total 172 that's been proposed throughout the entire process, and it's being permitted by DEP.
And did you complete all of the campsites that you were permitted for last year?
These 4 are not in, 80 through 84, these 5, I'm sorry, are not in. So they're on the other side of that wetland crossing where we walked in.
Yep.
So those ones are not, I think, we're going in this year, right? Yes. Those ones, but they're not in yet.
I couldn't tie into the septic and utilities, so it didn't make any sense and spend the money for 4 more sites. We'll tie it into this project here.
And so you're just doing campsites, you're not doing cabins?
Correct.
At all?
No, I'll be, so you can put RVs in them, but these ones, as we mentioned in the sidewalk, are going to be, this is more open area that was already cleared by the previous owner, but these are going to be wooded areas in between as much as possible, and kind of more nature sites, whereas this is in the open field that's already been cleared.
I have to ask if, when you come in next year, you're going to have planning board way? Just occurred to me that would be equally appropriate here. Does anybody have any questions? We're in a public hearing, so minutes aren't expected of a public hearing. You're okay, Teresa. So, does anybody have any questions?
Where did you say the septic?
Right now, it is right in the middle of the cul-de-sac there, which will treat, it goes down there, so it's natural gravity fed down that way.
So where's the purple and orange relative to the turnaround there where the septic is?
Right in, septic will be right in here.
Oh, I
Just
see.
in the kind of center of the cul-de-sac area there. Right now it's proposed.
So each lot or each RV area will have
Individual
septic
hookups,
drain, individual hookups that'll pour into there.
Yep.
And is that a one that you have to pump out? Time, or
no, this one should be a standard septic. This one will be a standard septic.
septic.
It should be able to get all gravity fed to it.
Each site will be gravity fed to this.
Yes. Yep. And then there's a new well
So
here.
you're gonna have a central collector going down Gary's Way then?
Yep. And then there'll be a new well here, which is the proper setbacks from the septic area.
So the other thing that's new in this application is asking for a permit to have food trucks come.
Correct. Just on, a couple weekends a year for the busy events, and they'll be there, no more than 48 hours, 2 days.
So you have it, you're thinking of like any 2 days a week, or Saturdays and Sundays, or Fridays, and, I mean, what are we?
It would probably be Friday and Saturday night. Sunday's our checkout day, there's nobody there Sunday. So it would be, you know, there's nobody really there Monday through Tuesday.
Yeah, I get it.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
Friday,
get it.
Saturday.
It just came out of the mouth.
Yeah, no, questions, could ask questions, you know the answers.
Yeah.
Can only people staying at the campground visit for the food trucks?
Yes.
So, what about, 4th of July week? You must sell out 4th of July.
Yeah, 4th of July week we're booked up.
Do you want food trucks for the whole week?
No.
Okay.
Weekends,
Okay.
Friday, Saturday. I'm not sure what the 4th of July falls on this year, but that might be maybe a 3-day thing, 4th of July. But no, 2 days is our
So is that specified in here?
Yes, I did put it in there,
Where could I find it?
I put it on page 2 at the bottom there, so it says, the applicant is also requesting to add the use of food trucks for larger events. Food trucks should be on site for no more than 2 consecutive days. That's how I worded it. On the bottom of page 2 there. Should be on the cover letter.
So the food trucks are only there on days where there are other events anyway? Or they can really be there on any 2 consecutive days at any time? Okay, so it's more, maybe could be driven even by volume when you guys are sold out, or some other thing is happening? It doesn't have to be an event?
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah. I think our event project would July, it's pretty much all that we have for events.
So do we have this?
You should have that, yeah, this is the copy of the site location that's gonna be submitted that was dropped off, so you should have that and the conditional use permit, which was dropped off.
Okay, I guess I'm concerned to see this. Don, do you have this packet? Because I don't see that we, the planning board, have this.
Right, I think we just have the one hard copy, that maybe.
Yeah, you should have, we dropped off the one hard copy of
Right,
each,
and
yeah.
that's what you got there.
This one's the site location,
This is.
this is the DEP one, yeah.
I don't have this.
I can make copies of it for you if you'd like.
Well, the planning board should have a copy.
Absolutely.
And we dropped off a copy of each.
Where did that,
This is mine I brought.
there was that big stack we had there,
This is the big stack. I looked at it at home and I didn't find it edifying. But, the planning board should have a copy of this, and,
Yeah, I know we dropped off a copy when we dropped that one off.
yeah, I'm not doubting.
No, yeah.
it was in that one big stack that we had. There were a number of pages there.
Do you have it electronically?
Yeah, we have it electronically. I don't have service here unfortunately, but, I did send it to you electronically
So
too.
I can make, do you need copies before tomorrow?
We did that.
Yeah.
Well, I need to read it at least right now,
Okay.
and maybe other members of the board would like to read it.
How many pages are there?
That's just, the cover letter itself, the whole packet is pretty big, but, the cover letter itself is,
Because I think when it came in electronically, I sent it to you, and I
15
think you
pages
sent
to
it to
cover
other
letter.
people on the board, and then you dropped off a hard copy of everything.
Yeah, I did see this.
So I think that's probably rare. I think everyone should have gotten an
Should have gotten it
electronic copy.
electronically, and I'm just,
Exactly.
yeah.
From who?
Um,
Got an electronic copy from who?
Well, he sent an electronic copy to me, and I sent it to Joe with the idea to distribute it to the planning board
And
members.
I sent it out to
Which is what he
everyone.
did. But that's generally what we do when they come in electronically. That way you have an opportunity to read them before the meeting, so you might be more familiar with it and be able to ask questions or whatever.
The and we didn't send up all the paper copies, because Joe's back is plan loan out from before.
But
Yeah.
if you want me to copy some of those, now I will, if you need a hard copy, that's all right too.
Could we have copies of that? I mean,
Sure, how many do you want?
I don't need one, I'll go and buy it.
Yeah, if I can find out.
Two?
Yeah, I'll do
two
it.
copies,
Okay.
maybe?
Do that.
What?
Yeah, Joe forwarded it on March 18th.
So you've got it up now?
Too much time.
Yeah, he forwarded it to the whole planning board on March
Yeah,
18th.
I found it.
Right, well, I think that's when it first came up.
Is it still, it's dated 3/14/24? Has it been updated
We haven't
since then?
updated anything since we submitted, yeah.
Yeah, I read it at the time. That's what, now I remember. I read it at the time and forwarded it to everybody, and I was right on top of it. March 19, I could have answered your questions.
No, that's fine.
But not now. No, I just wanted to see if the wording was in there, because then we can just, approve it. We don't have to add any wording.
Yeah.
That's what I'm trying for. Much cleaner.
So that's actually what goes through the purple there, that's actually the continuation of Deacon Road that
Yes.
goes up the mountain, right?
Yes.
So all those spots there on purple, in purple, they're gonna be, people are gonna be going up a hill, and you're gonna have to level those spots and everything, right? Yeah. Will you have to widen the road at all for those spots on both sides?
It'll be widened a little bit, I believe, but there's a grading plan somewhere for that, but that'll be enough next phase kind of thing.
Yeah, I'm just thinking about, when I pull my trailer and
Yeah.
they're not gonna be pull-through spots, and I don't know how you back into one of those on a hill like that.
Yeah, it would be leveled enough to get in and out.
Yeah, that's gonna be
why
tricky.
That's why they're laid out right there, because that's before it starts going up to big grade.
Yeah.
I don't have the grading plan for
It's not the easiest property to
No,
lay out.
no, that's,
It's a big piece, but it's very small pieces of it are usable.
what's the max capacity for an RV in there?
What do you mean? Sorry. Max capacity.
25, 30 feet, 50 feet?
Oh, the length?
Yeah.
They're all shown, all these are shown about 65 feet. These ones are a little bit shorter, I think like 50. But,
When we make our sites, we make them all pretty much the same size. When the software we use for booking, called CampSpot, we put in 25 foot, 40 foot, so they can book it that way. But when we present the sites, we basically go by the square footage that's the minimum for.
So if it's not a pull-through, people are gonna have to back their trailer into them, right? Unless it's a motor home, then they could pull straight in and then
So
just back out.
We always put utilities on the same side going up the road.
Oh, okay.
I mean, motorhomes aren't like cars where, some have the gas on the right, some on the left, they're all,
They still have electrical over and everything like that, so.
yeah.
I mean, they could if they wanted to run, but nobody runs generators. We don't know how that disturbs the neighbor next door.
Okay.
almost like the power anyway.
Yeah.
What food trucks do you have any lined up yet, or?
Haven't lined any up yet, and we've started to call around a little bit, everybody's pretty much booked for the season, so.
Really?
Chris Burnell's wife has a food truck.
So that's the one they're booked for the season.
Are they?
Johnny Mayo in Cornish, he just got his license yesterday, and he's booked the whole season.
Oh, my goodness.
So,
Great.
I found a hot dog truck that's interested, but he wants to come to a campground and have a hot dog, we won't barbecue. We'll
Dirty
find somewhere.
Gerties or something like that, yeah, is it steak tips or something?
Mhm.
Yeah.
I know a good vegan.
Wow.
You're called Chief Lee,
Oh,
down in North Conway.
I've been stopping the roast beef truck that's up there,
Yeah.
I'm working at Easton Close,
Yeah.
he's booked up this season.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Bob. Appreciate it.
One copy and here's the second copy.
Okay, who would like?
I'm the secretary, Madam Secretary.
Madam
not it.
Secretary.
Would you like a copy of that, the red font from you, so, I can
Okay.
page if you want.
Okay,
Cause the red is what's changed from the last one.
Yeah,
so
thank you.
Make it easier, when you're looking through quick.
Tia Leone's in trouble, I think.
What? Madam Secretary, yeah, I got it. I'm with you though, caught up, slow on the uptake.
where am I looking for?
Bottom of page 2.
Oh, okay.
Yep, right there.
So, I would ask the board, how do you feel about this language? The third phase of the development includes the continuation of Crossover Way and the construction of Gary's Way and an additional 20 sites. All new sites will be constructed to allow for RV use. Each site will have water, sewer, and electrical hookups. The applicant is also requesting to add the use of food trucks for larger events. The food trucks would be on site for no more than 2 consecutive days.
Did you just
Like the
add
word
that sentence about the
Yeah,
food
I
trucks,
think
Bill?
so, I think so. I think that it just shouldn't have the attachment to an event if you aren't saying that that is the one and only time you would have it. If you want the freedom to just have a food truck for 2
Yeah.
consecutive days at any time, I just really feel like it should read that way.
I feel more comfortable with that too.
Yeah.
The event where we've never liked that.
Yeah, I didn't like that either. No, I didn't just think that one up.
Because the copy that I have electronically, I have up until each site will have water, sewer, and electrical hookups, but there's nothing in here about the food trucks after that sentence.
It's here.
Mine has it.
The third phase of development includes the continuation of Crossover Way and the construction of Gary's Way and an additional 20 sites. All new sites will be constructed to allow for RV use. Each site will have water, sewer, and electrical hookups, period.
This one says the applicant is also requesting to add the use of food trucks to large events with food change.
You got yours from the link, Matt?
Yeah.
Drain.
Because, yeah, Victoria's reading from
Also
what I sent out.
from the link, yeah, same thing.
So I'm gonna strike for larger events and just leave it, the food trucks would be on site for no more than 2 consecutive days. I have nothing, I see nothing wrong with food trucks. I don't know why we should limit it any more than that. I mean, it's just, like, you're suggesting a limit of no more than 2 consecutive days, so what am I to say that's wrong, you know?
That first paragraph appears in 2 spots. I was further in, and it has the exact same paragraph, but it doesn't have the part about the food trucks.
Does anybody else have any other questions or observations they'd like to make?
I'm just looking through the red line, see if there's any other changes.
You make any changes to the rules?
Are we ready to close the public hearing?
I have one question.
Is there, with all this rain that we've been having, is there any problem with extra water coming through that area and leaking sewage out, or anything, streams, or vernal pools, or, I don't know what? We've had some strange weather.
No, no, I haven't, water's flowing more than normal, but no issues with any of this stuff, stormwater seems to be working fine, septic systems are leaching, right, and then, so, everything seems to be. And all the vernal pool reports and studies were done, in the past, and we're well away from any significant features.
Okay, do you have a plan that shows the, shorelands, zoning lines?
Sure we have, this one has the setback on it.
Alright, so we're not,
Just the crossing here.
just the one crossing.
Yep.
The other campsites are out of that, the buffer.
All campsites are out of it, and just the stream crossing here that would be,
And that's being permitted through the state.
correct, yep,
Right?
that's part of the main.
That's gonna be a culvert?
Yes, I believe, yep, a 54-inch culvert, I believe. Yep.
Has the fire chief looked at this? Is there enough room for what they need to get in there if there's a fire?
I haven't heard anything from the fire chief on it.
We can reach out to some of the same designs, roads and cul-de-sacs, and, I mean, we can include him in the, before we start the process. But if we get a 60-foot RV in there, we get a fire truck in there.
Well, yeah, it's just, we can't get both, I mean, that's like.
How wide are your roads?
They are, I believe they're 20 feet off the top of my head. I believe they're here. I believe they're 20 feet wide.
What's your pavement section look like?
They're as wide as Senator Black Road.
It's,
They're actually a little bit wider.
gravel, pretty gravel.
How much?
3 inches of
That's, you know,
type A
Senator
and
Black
6
Road.
inches of, type D for the access roads.
So it's only 9 inches total.
Yep.
Did you end up having to do any road work at the first turn, like across, Mr. Dave's property? You never ended up having to do it? Okay, and you've had no trouble with any kind of turning or issues there, right? Okay, and forgive me if you already, because I know that was a question early on. Forgive me if you already answered this. Is someone on site, someone that, like an employee or worker of the campground on site, or is it all like online, book, self-monitored type?
No, we have somebody there,
All the time, most of,
pretty much.
what
most of
are
the
the
time,
hours where somebody is on site?
Yeah, we're basically there from 8 to 11 o'clock every day.
At night?
Yep.
Okay.
And then we have work campers that have people that watch property there.
Okay.
I'm interested in this section on water quality and quantity treatment. It says the treatment pond will remove sediment from the runoff before it enters Marston Pond. The new area that is closest to Deacon Road will flow to a series of level spreader / forested buffer combinations. Marston Pond will be outfitted with an under-drained gravel bench at the outlet to provide cooling water as it enters the stream below the dam. And then water quantity control will be done by modifying the outlet to the dam. That's a lot of work. Has that all been done, or does that need to be done yet?
We haven't.
The DEP will tell us when that
Yeah.
needs to be done.
The pond, the stormwater treatment area up front is done, that's been in, and then the buffers will be put in when it's constructed in each section.
How do you do all that? I mean, do you have to have equipment in the pond, or?
Well, it's all before the pond. If you go up through there right now, there's the swale, it all comes down through here, goes down into the pond like it's supposed to. They design it and we build it.
The DEP designs it.
No, we designed the pond, well, the pond, was looked at in the first phase, and that's been in, and then the rest will be permitted through DEP for the other stormwater, but the buffers will be in, you can see the areas here, for the road width for these areas, so these areas here will be buffer areas where it will run out to a swale, and then the level of spreader is, it's a trench, usually about a foot deep or so, and then it's level across the whole lip and so that it prevents scour, and then the water will rise up in the lip a little bit and then overflow uniformly so it doesn't erode into the buffer areas, and these are all sized based on, the standard DEP, areas, they're just be forested areas.
So it'll be continuous, your level spreader will be continuous?
Yeah, yep, so it runs here, it comes down in a swale, and then this whole area before it goes into the buffer will be level with a level lip. It could step and come, well, it wouldn't step, but you have it come in, you'd have about 50 to 100 feet, and you have them come in a bit and then run out.
So it's the level spreader's only down in those few?
On every buffer, they have to have a spreader, or else you're gonna just erode the forest area. Yeah, so it generally pitches this way. This is actually will be for a future phase, but these will all come down in swales, and then the swales will turn into the ditch buffers.
So you'll have some additional clearing just to do the buffers then?
Just to get to them. But these areas shaded here are intended to be natural forest areas. So you just have it up to a point, and you have it along the edge here for your spreader, which is stone. But even, in between, really you just need the spreader area in the ditch. So this area here, this would still be uncleared.
Yeah.
It would just be the 3 foot wide area for your berm, or enough to get in there and maintain it.
Gary, does the campground own any of that, land that the beavers have been reclaiming? I mean, they have built a huge dam on Pigeon Brook Creek under the old, bridge that goes across Deacon Road, and they've turned what used to be, grassland into a huge swampy area.
That's not us out there.
Hasn't, not impacting you at all?
It's not you?
Sandwood, Carl Sandwood.
It's fascinating what they've done.
Can I ask a quick question?
Oh, I'm sorry, yes, Mark.
And I don't know if this is mentioned in the CPU, what is it called? CUP, thank you. You had mentioned that the ultimate plan was like 170 spots.
172, yeah.
172. Is there a timeline for that? Do you have a sense of what you're looking at to make that happen?
So right now, they've been coming back every year for an additional 20 spots or so. This will bring it up to 104, and then the whole thing is being permitted with DEP at once, so it'll just be when they come back to the town. Sure you'll see more of that, but I mean, right now it's been, last year we did this in red, this year we're doing this in orange.
And the orange brings it to 110?
The orange brings it to 104.
104?
Yep, and then the remaining will come back in separate phases as
Depends on how it runs. If we're really good, keep the sites full. We're not gonna build sites and have to sit there empty.
right.
The new sites we put in came on end of the season last year, so we don't have a good read on that yet. So obviously we can't do construction all over this year, so this will be a fall project, depending on what we do this season. Bookings are actually down across all the campgrounds right now because of the weather last year. Nobody dared to book in advance.
Yeah, this was a bad summer.
So, to answer your question, there's a chance it'll be back for 20 more next year, it might be the year after for another 20, but, the discussion last time was 20 lots seems to be the best approach to come back and.
20 at a time?
Yeah. The whole thing will be permitted with the state, so we just come back to the town.
It's easier to do that, Jeff, for neighbors, the board, everybody.
For sure. As think the noticeable, I think it was sort of the culture shock of doing it in the first instance, I think was hard, sort of generally. And I think now it's the noticeable traffic on the road, which is really the kind of ongoing chatter. So I think the incremental increases are helpful both for us in terms of what's the overall impact, and obviously just financially in terms of gauging and building and what the threshold and ROI for that is gonna be. But I think at some point, looking at that, we never did engage in the traffic study that we talked about initially, and in the back of my mind, it's always, have we reached that point? Are we really looking at traffic concerns? And I think it's just an open question. I don't think we're at the point where we are asking for that. But I wanna just mention that still for me is we may get there with the incremental increases, because it surely is noticeable. And certainly you have the larger vehicles and wider turns and all of that. All of those things are just real things on the road. And those are the sort of things that still come my way with some regularity. But it's something for us to kind of keep our eye on, I think.
And I can just add to that, just say that as a person who's killed a turkey, like one of the chickens as it goes up, as we go through that farm.
Accidentally killed the chicken.
You know, there are animals in the road.
Yeah.
All the time. And I killed one.
By accident.
By accident, obviously. And going 15, 20 miles an hour, those things will run right out into the road.
That's wish.
And there's goats, and there's all kinds of things. So,
not to sound mean or like a jerk, I mean, that's kind of the complaint of ours, is animals should not be in the road. Because the campers that are going to, they wanna pay attention, stay on the road and go up through. I don't wanna be swerving around goats, chickens.
Those two things are gonna hit some point though.
Yes.
You know what I mean? There's gonna be a clear.
It's a clash of the realities of our road.
Right, there'll be a trailer with somebody from out of state who hits a goat or something bigger. And then there'll be a problem. So I mention it only because the traffic is up. It's not ridiculous, and obviously I'm happier than I was when we were looking at 350 sites.
Right.
Yeah.
We have the peak traffic when they come in first weekend, and
You just need to
it's gonna
think
lean more towards seasonal because of the layout of the farm.
Okay.
You know, we have plenty of transient sites up through there.
Okay.
So,
Yeah, I'd like to be mindful of that. I think at some point, the load on the road and just how that flows in and out, and whether we talk a little bit about incremental check-in and check-out, or like how to manage traffic flow, because obviously you want people to be coming when they wanna utilize on weekends and stuff, and we don't wanna impact the enterprise of the business, but it might be at some point, I don't know, in my mind, that sort of piece,
we take
but
that into consideration.
Yeah.
We will check in at 1 o'clock.
Yeah.
Check out at 11, so it separates the two.
100%.
There, you try to get the people in before
And
you
then
move
out.
back to people getting home.
So there's a break.
Plus it lets us get the site filled up. So
Yeah.
on Friday, we'll have 50, 60 check-ins.
Okay.
But luckily it's all smoothed out, and everybody's on their own schedule. They all try to be there around the 1 to 3 range, so they get set up before that to enjoy the evening.
Okay. And I'm not one for like the anecdotal evidence of what people told me that their neighborhood friend, whose uncle's cousin's neighbor's friend told them. So, you know, I'm actually talking about real true conversation when the time is right.
Yeah.
That's all I'll say on that.
Okay, I agree with that, and
Okay.
we're ready for that, and
Yeah, I think I wanna say so far, I mean, we've had, that I'm aware of, I think it's run much smoother in the last 2 seasons. I know last year just was rotten, so that probably had, volume was down, and I appreciate that, overall. And I think, the incremental approach is helpful just for everyone as well.
Definitely.
thank you.
Gary. On page 10, there's a paragraph that says, the road commissioner is in charge of Marston Road upgrades, semicolon. The developer has agreed to assist in the maintenance and is working with the town, there's a to and with missing, working with the town select board and will be providing an agreement the selectmen to review. Where does that stand? Has that agreement been provided and reviewed, and is it finalized, or, if it has, then this paragraph should be updated, but I'm just curious where that's all at.
I can tell you where it stands from the select board point of view. I think maybe in 2021, there was a discussion, one of the new owners said he was gonna provide something from his lawyer, and it never appeared. We have nothing on the books for that regard.
Is that Derek Holt? Is that Derek Holt?
Yeah, the routine buyer, remember he attended several meetings, and several occasions he mentioned that he was gonna have his lawyer draw something up, and we never.
There was some discussion of you wanted us to be bonded, or something like that before we touch the road.
I don't know about that exactly, but like I say, we don't have anything presented to us.
All we do in the road right now is put calcium down from the dry spells. We don't do any maintenance on the road as of right now.
Is that something you'd like to do?
Absolutely.
So this language makes it possible for you to talk to the selectmen and do maintenance on the road, perhaps.
Okay.
Possibilities out there.
Although I can tell you that legal advice is that you don't have private individuals working on the road.
That's why we stopped doing that, because if we're allowed to work on the road, everybody's gonna wanna work on the road.
Well, I mean, you hire people to work on your roads, don't you?
We do.
So if they paid you, then you could turn around and hire them to do the work.
Or
I don't
anyone
know,
else.
I mean, it's just,
I mean, or anyone else. I don't know that you would have to hire them. The
Or
idea is
anyone
that
else,
if they are putting the extra burden on the road, that they are contributing to the cost and upkeep of that, right? Or no?
We don't wanna go out there and build the road or make a
No.
road. I'd love to be able to go out there with a box plate and the box back of the tractor, a couple loads of gravel, fill in the pothole.
Got it.
That's, you were up there the other day, pretty rough.
and that was my reaction, was, oh my goodness, look at this, great landscaping, wonderful impression, boom, 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 and, breaking the crockery in the motorhome.
So what would the town need?
And I think it was the planning board that reinforced that to the selectmen a number of times.
Yeah, yeah.
That was all back when everything was up in the air, and I'd love to have the discussion again, to try to limit what we do, and just work with the road commissioner, with the selectmen and planning board.
I think that's open now. But,
What we don't have is, we don't have anything presented to us as just read.
yeah. So, pressure's on you, Gary, or on
Okay.
Derek, okay?
Unfortunately, Derek's not here.
Yeah.
I do have the right to speak. But
So we leave the language in and hope that you
proceed
and
from there.
Derek can,
Yes.
because I'd love to see that.
That's not really a
better
CUP
run.
item, correct?
What?
That's not really a CUP item, that's a.
That's already
discussion
there.
item.
Since it's in here, then it is a CUP.
Okay,
item.
so
Right, but
do not
he's
work.
saying we don't have to resolve this right
Oh, no,
now.
no, we don't, no.
It just says that you want to do it, and
Okay.
you work with the town to try and do it. more or less.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's great. So I'd like to close the public hearing unless anybody has anything they want to say. Okay, and then I'd like to open the planning board meeting.
Could I motion for a 2-second break because I didn't have a chance to visit the restroom for the last
And
4 or 5
I
hours.
declare
so-
a 5-minute break.
Okay, that would be much appreciated since I'm the note taker. Okay, you were done.
Yep, no problem.
Thank you, Joe.
Take care, Mark.
All right.
Thank you for coming. Appreciate it.
So what's this video?
This, him defending the First Amendment right to film in town offices. And, so he was ship disturbing,
So you just
And when
came
it-
in and took video?
into like open doors and then went into the town clerk's and then was talking to some other I don't know.
You try to
and
engage with
engage,
Don
and
and I were here.
I mean, it's really like cringy to watch. I watched the
Really,
whole
it's
thing,
creepy.
and he just got, the person who was then talking about the flag, the older gentleman, and he's like, what is this badge you're wearing? And it's like, it's just something stupid on it as well, like some made up badge.
Shiny badges don't give you extra privileges or something like that.
Yeah, something badges, yeah, that badges, and this older gentleman was like, what, like, it looked
Yeah.
like from the camera's point of view, it's like, what is it, I can't read it, and he's like, don't touch me, don't touch me, sir. Like, very aggravating, and like trying to
Trying to
start
get some
something.
response,
Oh
yeah.
my, I'm gonna send the link
We've
before.
had training on it, and it's a group of people that's their business model. Is to go out and aggravate somebody in the town office.
Yeah.
I've never heard of that.
Get a reaction from them, it's called First Amendment audits. A lot
Yeah.
of towns have been hit up, and then they get something that's, looks, like people might be interested in looking at, people are getting their dander up and whatnot, and so they get hits on their YouTube website, so that's how they make their money.
But it's like, do you have nothing better to
Better
do
way,
with your
yeah,
time?
there's better ways to do that.
But I've never seen one where they've gone to a town office and go, these guys are great here, they're treating me just right.
Yeah.
It's the other way they get somebody's dander up, and so,
It's a business model.
yeah, it is.
And then if things really turn bad, they'll sue you and make big bucks.
They have.
They have.
They have, yeah. No. Okay, call the meeting to order and, review the minutes of the previous meeting. Those were distributed by Don. Does anybody have any comments on the minutes?
Good work, Don.
Was that a motion to approve?
I will move to approve the minutes as distributed.
I'll second that motion.
Any further discussion? All those in favor? Any opposed? Okay, we passed the,
Who's first? Newly appointed officers.
yeah, there you go.
That's all I have to say about that. Yeah, just kidding. Kathy, you get my humor. Thank you.
I didn't hear it, that's one.
I said that I opposed the part about the newly appointed officers.
Right. I voted against myself at that.
Yeah.
So, taking up the matter of the CUP for Nature's Wilderness, or the amendment of the CUP for Nature's Wilderness Resort and RV. Does anybody have any questions, any observations they'd like to make? Any motions they'd like to make?
Before we make a motion, so just so we're clear, so, from the original permit, has any of the original, parcel been separated out?
No.
Okay. And is the, I know the owner owns land that's connected, can't think of the word for some reason. Contiguous. Is that being used for any purpose on the,
No.
okay. Are there still the signs that say trail end, that kind of stuff? Okay. And the only thing I would say is if, I don't know if you wanted to actually approve it tonight or not, but I'd like to make it contingent on the, fire chief approving the design of the roads, that they're acceptable to the fire chief. That's the only thing I can really see as a concern. I mean, I just don't know enough to know whether it's a problem or not. I hear you, like, if you can get, the RVs in there, it shouldn't be a problem with fire trucks, but I just don't know enough about it I feel more comfortable if the fire chief approved the road design before it's built.
That's a good point, and we should all keep in mind that if there's changes of roads and access and so forth to land, that we have to remember to get the fire chief in here. And I don't know who's fire chief right now, but Steve did say he was very willing to do that kind of thing. Anything think that's part of the job.
Yeah, and I think they were fine, I mean, I don't have a problem with them working with the fire chief directly, it's just, I don't want it on us, because when you look at it, I mean, that's a ways in there, and if the fire department can't get in there, that's a problem.
I would hope that Deacon Road's extension would not be encroached by any construction. That it would be free to have the fire truck go down. There might be some question about turnarounds.
When you go all the way up here to the top of the mountain, is there a circle or a turnaround up there?
Yes, there's a landing up there.
Is it paved? I remember walking up there a long time, the road just kind of peters out, but when you have all of these, you may have a situation where somebody is having trouble and can't turn around, or the fire trucks, you're not gonna be able to, do a three-point
This will
turn
be
on this.
a whole loop through here.
Oh, so it can go like that?
Yeah, so this will be a whole loop of the campsites, and they could even come in and, if they had to come out that
So
way.
nobody will have to go up to the
No,
top and
no,
turn around and
no.
come back down?
No construction going on up through here.
Yeah, and then this won't even be touched yet, it'll just be here right now, but.
Just orange.
Just orange, yeah, the blue is just kind of showing what we'll come back for, but,
Oh,
so
that's good that I didn't notice that there's a loop there like that.
this is really all we're going for now, this extension here, with the cul-de-sac, which I don't think there'll be any trouble with the fire department, we'll have with them, show them what we need to get in and out.
Right, there'll be no development up here. Like that's where the tunnels are and all the caves, we're keeping all this green area up there. There's no, that's our plans right there.
That's all I had, those are the things that I thought of.
I think where kind of David was going with the question about no sale, the other parcels and stuff, is that you remained in compliance with the existing CUP until now, and nothing is currently out of compliance, correct?
Correct.
Okay. Correct?
Okay.
Yeah, I guess I might.
Yeah. Thank you.
So Tracy, do you want to, excerpt your minutes and put that in a statement along with the, reservation that they'll talk to the fire chief? And so we can staple that to the whole CUP?
Yes, so, just for a little direction, so I'm gonna mirror back and confirm what my role is now, is that I'm gonna take what we just said in the conditional approval based on the fact that the fire chief is gonna look and say that the road design meets the requirements they need to get in, turn around and do what they need to do, and then I amend that to the current CUP, and assuming that that is all approved, it becomes incorporated in as part of what we're approving?
Yes.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you.
Sure. Great.
Yeah, this one's a little different because the CUP isn't really, there's no like
It's like the.
CUP.
Yeah, it's like the,
What we do is
it's like phase 3 of
yeah, and
the
I,
existing.
were you secretary when we did phase 2, Matt?
I was,
Stewart?
yeah.
So we'll look up phase 2 and how we did it,
Take a look at what we did on that.
and can I call you if I have a question? Okay,
So we essentially approved the
The phase.
submission,
got it.
and then if there's any additional
We have
conditions.
special conditions that we put into the, there's two parts of it, right? We had like what do we call that, Joe, like special conditions and then general conditions?
Just conditions.
Conditions, yeah.
Yeah. This one's just different because it's so big, like,
And then we have
like
standard
all this
The
stuff
general conditions and then
is part of the conditional use permit, we incorporate the submission as part of the conditional use permit, that they maintain compliance with the submission.
that would be a condition.
So once I prepare that, how do I distribute that next? What do I next do?
One copy to Dawn, one copy to them,
Okay,
and one copy goes in the files, although that has been done electronically more than that, hasn't it?
Yeah, we have We haven't updated the folders in the past year, so eventually we should update the folder by year.
But before it goes back to the applicant, we have to sign it. So-
Yes.
So since we're meeting every week, so right now, would it be okay if, when we met next time, I brought the proposed and somebody, like maybe Dawn, just eyeballs it, make sure I got it right, and then I could distribute it?
That's fine.
Why not?
Okay.
Sure.
That's fine.
This is my first official secretarial act. You are that lucky.
So do we have, are we done, do we have a motion here?
I'll make a motion that, subject to the conditions that have been discussed here, including the road commissioner compliance check, the applicant maintaining compliance with the submissions of the third phase, and.
Fire? Or is that what you meant by road commissioner? Did you mean
Yeah, fire chief, road
Okay.
commissioner. And whatever else we discussed, I can't remember, there's one more. That we approve the applicant, phase 3 submission.
I'll second that motion.
Okay. Any further discussion? Questions, observations?
So since we are amending the language about the food trucks, just to strike that part, I specifically did write that in the note that that was a change, correct?
Yes.
Okay. I did then.
Thank you.
So all those in favor of approving this amendment, raise your hands. Thank you. So there are none opposed, it's unanimous.
Thank you.
Congratulations, that was smooth, well done,
Thank you.
thank you. And
Appreciate it.
see you again soon, hope you make a lot of money.
There you go.
Okay, so, what? Oh, okay, so Steve, Wilkin called me up and he said, I got the papers, it's my wife's birthday tonight, and I've got a reservation at 7 o'clock at Krista's, and can I just drop off the papers on you, and you give them to the planning board, and everything will be okay, right? And that was not actually a question, it was like, right. So, I have what we asked for, this is your list, and right there, he drew his sign. And he took, when I asked for a narrative, he took it as asking for a mission statement. Thank you. Good night. The mission of the former West Baldwin Grange is to provide a hall for antique vendors. Initially, the hours of operation will be 9 to 6, Monday through Sunday. Winter hours may be shorter. Vendors will sell antiques and collectibles, and the store will be managed. There will be adequate parking on the property without impacting street traffic. So this is what he is submitting. He has a 8.5 by 11 picture of his parking. I've been to Cornish. I've seen how they don't have as many parking spaces per square foot as we're asking for, but that is what our ordinance asks for. And so we have to ask for it, but I'm also aware that that's not really, that's not realistic. Go to an antique store and do some research on how many people are in the antique store and how many people are parked outside and that sort of thing. It's not something that is going to impact traffic flow in West Baldwin. That's my impression. So we've got we've got a schematic of Grange. I suggested to him that if we had problems with the traffic, with the parking layout, we might eliminate the third floor, for a while and come back later and amend that. What else? We've got a deed.
Did you get, deed?
Original deed.
Original deed.
Wow.
I sent him back, he was giving me his whole folder. I said, take this back, I don't want it. But, yep, original deed. It's, he lives in the neighborhood. You know, I know him as somebody living in the neighborhood. And that is why he felt free to stop in on me and deliver this to me. For your benefit. So, we have a site walk, and we wanted all this paperwork before his site walk.
When's the site walk scheduled for?
That was what I was looking for.
I thought somebody else might know, so.
We did not schedule one yet.
We didn't schedule one, okay?
I thought you did.
No,
No.
we said after we got this, we would schedule it.
So,
Oh, yeah, because we do want to try to maintain the practice of having a complete application
Correct.
before scheduling a sidewalk or
Correct.
that's a good practice because we've been, shortchanged with information before.
Correct.
do we want to schedule the site walk?
Need a motion?
Do the documents that he gave Joe there constitute what was missing, and do we now have a full submission, a full application?
Yes,
It
Okay.
seems like it.
yeah. So the 11th of May would be the soonest we could do that. And if we did that, I would schedule, I would wonder about scheduling,
Have we ever scheduled a site walk like a half an hour before the meeting?
no?
Like in the summer, it seems like,
Yeah.
cause we're only there, honestly, this place is not that big.
Right,
Do we go inside on the building? Do we look at
Yeah,
the inside?
we
Okay.
do. Remember Joel Goldstrom?
Yeah. But it can't take more than, 20 minutes to look at that thing?
Oh, yeah,
Maybe half an hour?
yeah,
What about doing it right before? I don't know, I'm asking the question.
I like it.
I don't know if that's the right answer.
Might schedule for like 6 o'clock.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we could start the meeting at 7:15,
So it would have to be Thursday, the 23rd of May. So we'd have a site walk, followed by a public hearing, followed by a planning board meeting.
Okay,
Right.
and I just write that on the little write-up and I send it straight to the little paper, just
Yeah.
that way, like you said, right? Like I saw
I'll
your
help you
things
with
this week.
Yeah.
Yep.
Let me ask one question. Are we still sending out,
A butter notices.
yeah,
Should be.
Who does that?
That was, I had done it a few times, I have not done it
Did Robin do it?
last two.
so the abutter notices weren't sent out for like tonight's public
No,
hearing
they were not
to
sent
this
out.
thing?
And actually, the way the ordinance reads, they're supposed to be done by the town clerk.
Well, it says, "The board shall notify by regular U.S. mail, first class postage prepaid, the applicant and the owners of all property within 500 feet of the property involved at least 10 days in advance of the hearing, of the nature of the application and of the time and place of the public hearing." So for instance, in May, we have the TW public hearings, and, that would mean that, if you back up 10 days from that, I think the notices would have to go out on Monday. So, you know, I don't know whether it's a big deal or not. If we're not sending out those notices, the only question I would ask is, does the planning board or the town have any liability, or, you know, if somebody comes back after a CUP is approved and the project is started, somebody can come back and say, I wasn't notified properly of the public hearing, and I now have a problem that you have to deal with ex post facto.
Well, I'm sure everybody in this room has an answer to that, and I have my own. My thought on that in terms of a resolution is we're working on the ordinances right now, and so we always publish the notices, and so would it be wise of us to consider making a change to the regulation regarding abutter notices at the same time we're doing it?
Tracy, and I've got something on my computer at home. I've been researching the notice requirements. Because interestingly enough, land use things have their own specific requirements for notices.
Okay.
And they're not all the same, you know, some type of land use things are different than others.
But if our land use law would, if
I think they're all, well, it's all based on statute, and I think public noticing of a butler is a statutory requirement.
State law wise.
Yeah.
Then we need to meet it. And I mean, but at the end of the day, isn't the harm, it's due process, so if that's the planning board level, that they would have been noticed and they would have come and we would have still done the CUP or not, or whatever would have happened. So, it's sort of the due process question.
I'll shoot you what I've got so far.
Okay.
But it gives references to what the statutes are that control each everything.
So, I guess, you know, we should be meeting the requirement, but.
I asked David Laurie about the noticing in the paper, because the notice for the site walks this coming Saturday did not appear 10 days ahead of time, and I was concerned. And David Laurie cited case law to say that if a sincere effort had been made, that was all that was required. And it would seem to me he was indicating that I was under the impression that those notices were going out as probably were most of the rest of the board. And my feeling is that we are okay to continue. We should, however, make sure that now that this has been brought up, that in the future we do send out those notices, those individual notices.
And I would just want to, because I remembered, it's right next door to the Grange.
Yes.
Carrie, she's closing on her house, I believe, tomorrow.
Yeah.
So we should maybe tell somebody to make an effort to let the new owners know, because I guess all those notices are not going to be updated, and
that's a problem, because we have tax,
yeah. So,
information.
and if they don't know the paper yet, maybe they won't be living there because of, renovation, so somehow.
There's an escape clause, number 2 here, that says the owners of property shall be considered to be those against whom taxes are assessed. Failure of any property owner to receive a notice of public hearing shall not necessitate another hearing or invalidate any action by the planning board. So, you know, if we don't get it done, it doesn't invalidate anything that we do, so. Gonna consider both 1 and 2 as to what we wanna make an effort to do.
Well, I mean, I get,
Well, let's just start doing it. I mean,
yeah,
you know,
like, how do I?
it's the worst,
who does it?
it's the worst part of being a secretary, you know. I was secretary for a spell, and, I threatened to
Seriously?
quit multiple times.
Excuse me? So I decide that all of a sudden you guys tell me I'm secretary when we decide to have meetings every single week. And when we decide that we're gonna send the butter notices and it's my job to do it.
We love you, Tracy, we just really love you, that's all.
But, you know,
No, but seriously, how do I know how to do it?
Before I was, when I was secretary, I told Joe he had to do it or I'd quit.
Okay, I'll just remind you that should someone move out of Baldwin, one cannot serve on the planning board.
So what's the status of any assistance by the folks in the town office on those notices?
Or like, could you give me clear direction on like?
Yeah, well, no, we'll go through how to do it.
It's actually
Pat?
not too bad, because you can literally do it all from home. You can access, you can access the maps.
Yeah.
You can determine the properties within 500 feet with a little ruler, just guesstimate. Then you can go into the tax records and you can pull those properties. You can, you know, copy and paste a list of the addresses,
Okay.
and then just send that to Robin, you know, with here's the announcement, please print that out, here's the addresses that it goes to, and they'll take care of the rest.
Yeah, sure.
Even easier way, I think there's one of those programs that are available that will give you a butter list.
Okay. Well, no matter, I mean, if that's what we're doing, that's what we're doing. I chuckled because you said I can do it from home, but I think you failed to realize I'm home about 3 hours a day. So there's just that.
I think Kathy came tonight in case you didn't come, because
But
you
look,
talked.
I made it.
You did, but you talked about needing an assistant, we talked about hiring somebody, we're aware there's no money in the budget right now for that. And so, in the great tradition of husbands, I'm volunteering my wife to help you out, if you would like to have her help.
Yeah, it would. So I just wanna clarify real quick, the abutter notices that we think are due right now are for the 2 site walks that are actually happening on this Saturday?
So
Or am I foregoing those?
we're foregoing those, we're
And
talking
just
about
catch
Steve
up.
Wilkins.
On the one that we just said, or it's gonna be the 23rd. So I'm gonna place the ad in paper and do the abutter notices for the Wilkins 6 PM on the 23rd, and then followed by the public hearing, and then followed by the planning board meeting.
Yes.
Okay,
No.
no, that's it, no.
The abutter notices are for the public hearings.
Right, but that is the public hearing, we're
And
doing
the
it on the
public
same night.
hearings are TW,
But that's the,
Matt, if we sent the letters out tomorrow, they'd probably get there after the site walk happened.
But before the public hearing.
it's
So
for
still
the
do it.
public hearing, not the site walk.
okay, so the butter notices are for the public hearing, and those 2, Flying Squirrel, another one is like May 7th or something, so you're saying go ahead and do the abutter notices,
May 9.
May 9th?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
That makes sense, yeah, that makes sense, but
Yeah.
why not? Well, I mean, just, if you need help, just reach out to,
Okay. So right now, those are the only 2 scheduled public hearings, other than Wilkins.
So, yes, other than Wilkins.
Okay,
And it's Steve Wilkins.
Flying Squirrel,
Wilkins.
Wilkins,
Let me just check.
I wrote it down.
Yeah, it's Wilkin.
And what I did was I just basically, with the thing I sent to the shopping guide, I would just print that out. Like, I didn't do anything else. Like, I didn't say, oh, hey, this is the planning board. I just literally print out whatever I sent
Literally,
and
it
mail
is
it.
So I had a question, like the ad that's in the shopper guide right now for flying squirrel stuff. Do you have on your computer the way it's formatted like that, or you just send
They
an
do it.
email?
They do
And
it.
so mine is like, email to shopper guide, hi, this is Tracy, I'm the new Madam Secretary, here's our thing. And she makes it look like, they make it look like that.
That's right.
Correct?
Yeah.
It's, the wording comes from us. She formats it to.
Like the way it says Baldwin Planning Board announces that.
Yeah,
blah,
that's
blah,
all
blah.
her script, yeah, that's.
So when you say you just print it out, you mean the email you sent to them, or the actual?
No, just the email I sent to
Okay,
them.
thank
Just
you.
email it to
They ask you
them.
how big an ad you want.
Yeah, they do ask the size. And I usually CC,
Yeah, but I mean, what are you telling, 4 page or 8 page?
yeah, page to page.
It's a page, I think.
I usually would CC, I don't know if you all did, but I usually would CC whoever at the town office was gonna pay the bill.
Who is that person?
Well, so, I used to do Debbie, when it's expanded since then, Debbie would be the right person. So then if there's something super weird, Debbie does read it, and every once in a while she'd be like, what, that's next year, you know?
Okay, question, John, would you forward me the last email you sent to shopper guide?
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Shopping, yeah.
Shopping guide,
Your weekly shopping guide.
your weekly shopping guide, no, my weekly shopping guide.
Your weekly shopping.
Just for you. Oh God, help us all. Yeah, help the whole town of Baldwin, they're gonna need it.
And the thing is, it has to be done by Monday noon.
Okay, I'm on it.
Has to be done by Monday noon.
So just this once and never again, could you, what I'm gonna do, Dawn, is I'm gonna copy you when I send it in, and if you haven't seen that by Sunday noon, will you ding me? Just this one time and never again.
I'll remind you.
But if you will send me the last one you sent, I'm gonna copy you when I send it in, and if you haven't seen it by Sunday noon, you're gonna ding me, because in my life, things happen.
You're unique like that.
No, it's not unique, it's just the truth. It's called accepting your reality. But I'm on it, for real. I'm not gonna let you down. But I like to build in what I call guardrails.
You're gonna have to send the same notice to the abutting neighbors.
Right.
Yes, correct, yeah. I also.
You can make it as flowery as you want.
Yeah.
I was told off the first time I sent out abutters notices because, I scared, some nice little old lady by sounding so official. You know,
Have
and,
to stick the notice in an envelope, that's it.
yeah, I was told to be calmer, kinder in my
Kinder?
notices.
But wait, if I just kind of send the notice, the email, the notice, quote, and the list to Debbie, then isn't it not mine?
No, that doesn't work.
Oh, I thought,
What I'm.
But Matt said Robin would do it.
Yeah.
Matt said Robin would do it,
I
so.
didn't know I had the envelope.
I had pushback on that.
So, well,
Oh,
no.
God.
You just have to email the lady at the top.
I had pushback on that.
Bob, is it okay to have Robin do that?
Right now, she's trying to get the, town warrant out.
Okay, so,
Tracy.
You'll do it,
Yeah.
Tracy.
I can do it, I just need to understand, am I putting them in envelopes and I'm buying the stamps myself and I'm mailing them myself?
No,
She'll give you the envelopes.
don't get the envelopes and stamps,
Sure.
just get the thing that's all opened up.
She can give it
Addresses.
labels to you,
She'll give me labels?
yes.
Okay,
This is what I would
And
do.
she has a program that will give you who the landowners are around the property. The other thing I'm suggesting you do is that instead of just sticking the notice in the envelope, that you write a letter that sort of softens it.
I never did.
No.
You wouldn't expect David to, but being a lady,
you're
I
giving me
understand
this
that.
opportunity to utilize my new Madam Secretary position and have that.
Show your gracious side.
Got
Yeah,
it.
show your gracious, show the planning board's gracious side, rather than the David Strauss
I could
side.
even put a little thing of fees in the envelope. because it's spring and they can plant flowers.
This is not a cannabis project.
Not that kind of seed.
You can do it on the cannabis
I was
project.
thinking like flower seeds, not cannabis seeds.
I'm sure if you call Robin and have a quick discussion with her, you guys can work out a mutually
I'm
agreeable.
sorry, I was having just, my brain's a little overwhelmed, but I am following, it's no problem, I got it, it's
Perfect.
done.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
What do we got next?
There's a motion in order.
I motion to adjourn.
Is that all that we have?
That's all we got. Oh, Don.
I did have a lady who called me this morning, I called her back, and if you're on 113 and you take a right onto Crawford Road, almost immediately there's a red tape with an attached red barn, and she wants to buy that and operate a coffee/tea shop there. She sells pastries and coffee and tea. And I said she had to come for a conditional use permit, and she was planning to come by tonight just to sort of see how we dealt with things. So you did that.
Great.
But she didn't come, so
Yeah.
that's sort of in the pipeline.
Great.
Crawford Road.
Yeah.
Where's
Yeah.
Crawford Road?
The other side of, Douglasville Road, the next road on your right.
Kind of cuts the corner on 113.
Okay.
I wish one of these coffee shop hamburger joints would be closer to my house.
So this one's getting closer to mine.
Yeah.
Incremental.
You can take the electric scooter to this one.
Okay, we have a motion to adjourn. Do we have a second?
I'll second that motion.
Okay.
Are you guys meeting, will we be meeting every week?
We are meeting every week until we get our ordinances written.
Did we meet last week?
Yep.
No, we didn't.
No,
No, this is, the
sorry.
start is next week.
Okay.
So the second and fourth Thursdays, we meet to do business, and the first and third Thursdays, we will meet to, deal with ordinance revision.
I won't be back.
Until we're done.
I won't be back until the 9th, but
Oh, yeah, excuses.
I'm going to Hawaii.
Hawaii, I
Hawaii,
remember.
sorry.
So, a motion is on the floor. All those in favor of adjourning?
Yeah.
We're adjourned. Thank you all very much. See you Saturday, Carl Burnell Road.
Enjoy the video.